What are the most common manifesting pitfalls and how to avoid them? That's exactly what we're talking about today on the Manifesting Guide. This is Ariana Rollins, and this is Show 64. 3 manifesting pitfalls to avoid. So glad you're here. Before we get started, I'd love for you to join our Manifesting Guide waitlist. The book is coming soon, and you're going to get some wonderful bonuses. Jump in now. Go to themanifestingguide.com and you can see it right there. All right, let's talk about something that I think is so important, because knowing what we want is obviously critical, and it's really important first step in accomplishing anything we want. You know, I just think of manifesting as a way of making changes, getting things done. It's not some woo-woo term out there. It's just making changes easier, accomplishing our goals in a more direct and harmonious way. That's how I see manifesting. So let's get into 3 common pitfalls to avoid. 1, not listening to your inner voice. 2, allowing others' opinions to dictate your choices. 3, daydreaming without taking proactive steps. We're going to go into detail in each one. And some of these are going to be common sense, and hopefully you're going to resonate with them, and you're going to be aware when they are influencing you. Because sometimes once we're clear on something we want to accomplish, we write it down. Maybe we go through the steps to really anchor it in our heart. And we have this really strong vision, imaginary experience of it happening. We are feeling our emotions. We're doing everything right, but then we're not progressing, or that it's taking a lot longer than we expect. And that's a big clue. If something is taking longer than you expect or anticipate, you are noticing that there's a lot of struggle. You're not in flow. That's something I address in the Manifesting Guide in the What is Fear of Success Anyway chapter, where it's identifying those things that we are habitually doing, thinking, or feeling, and that it kind of sucks the air out of our dream. It sucks the air out of our goal. One could say it's doubt. I guess in a way it is doubt, but it's deeper than that, because that fear of success will undermine all our efforts. It's the most common block for people who are creatives and entrepreneurs out there, that fear of success. And I know you could argue with me right now. You say, no, I want success. And I do not mean to be mean. I'm saying this with as much love and compassion and understanding that I have, because I've lived this journey, is if you don't have what it is that you are seeking, what you want to accomplish, there are internal beliefs, blocks, habits, behaviors that are fighting you. And it's creating inner conflict. So it could be fear of success. It could be something else. But if we play with that, it is fear of success. Then think about it this way, is once you embrace what the fear of success is stirring up in you, and you completely accept it, worst case scenario, and I think I talked about that in episode 63 in more detail, then you can relax. It's like you take this deep breath and this big exhale, and your shoulders drop, and you're like, everything's okay. I'm okay. And that's a really important place to be whenever you're manifesting. So now let's get on to these 3 manifesting pitfalls to avoid. First, not listening to your inner voice. This can indicate that either you don't trust yourself, you don't trust the path you're going on, or that you're not sure if that's the right thing to work on at this time, or that you've got to disconnect. You're out of alignment. In the Manifesting Guide, there's a whole chapter on an exercise on the value discovery exercise. You know what I mean? So helpful, so important, because that's something that I've learned most recently, that when I have set an objective, especially when I'm working on something really big, very meaningful, which may feel nearly impossible, that if I don't make sure that my values are represented in that, I will not succeed. So not listening to your inner voice, failing to align with your values, your thoughts, your beliefs, and making sure that whatever you're intending is aligned with that, because your desired manifestations can hinder and interfere with the whole process. And when there is a disconnect between what you want and how you think, feel, or behave, as I've mentioned before in many shows, it creates resistance, and it can block your ability to easily create success, to easily attract your desire, to easily manifest your intention. So not listening to your inner voice. So I'm going to give some tips on here on how to improve that if you find that you tend to dismiss yourself. Okay. Number 1, 2, and 3 is really the solve for this one is meditating. And you know that I recommend the Dr. Joe meditations. You don't have to do that. You can literally put on some relaxing music without words. Make sure it's not a YouTube video where they're going to shock you with ads. Put headphones on and commit to doing 5, 10, 15 minutes every day. Meditation. Shut out the outside world. If you like, I really enjoy eye masks. Have the light blocked. Sit in a favorite place in your home where that starts to become your sacred space, your manifesting space, your meditation space. It's where the you of you connect with, and you relax and you embrace you and start to attract ideas and things. And when we get on to number 3, manifesting pitfall, this will become even more important. Try it for 7 days. See how you feel. For most people, it turns down the stress response in their body, which helps us sleep better, which helps improve relationships and helps our health. So tuning in to that inner voice, try meditating. Another one that I really like, oddly as it may sound, is yoga. For some reason, just gentle movement or walking gets me in my body and gets me tuned into myself. Okay, so that's not listening to your inner voice, and some tips to help you on that. Number 2, manifesting pitfall to avoid is allowing others' opinions to dictate your choices. Now, this can be pretty tricky if you are in relationship, you're married, or you have children, because obviously your choices can impact other people. So what do? Well, this is really something I've struggled with. I will be completely honest. I ran my home with a democratic nature. Even when my son was 3 years old, I'd ask him when we were looking for a place to live, "What do you think, honey? Do you like it? Do you like it?" And of course, if he gives me an answer, I'm going to take it into consideration. Allowing others' opinions to dictate our choices is a big one for empaths, big one for people who are highly sensitive. Let's talk a little bit more about why this can really be a pitfall. Is if you talk out what you're working on, it can allow the doubt and negativity of other people to come in, and it can start to dominate your mindset and sabotage your efforts. So if you're speaking about something that you want to work on, accomplish, or manifest, and a loved one thinks to themselves, "Gosh, you've tried to shed weight for like 5 years. How many diets have you tried? How many cookbooks have you bought? How many things you forced me to let go of because it's putting weight on for you?" They're going to get into that, and they're going to think, I think, honey, you look great at the weight you're at right now. And they can undermine or cause you to doubt that intermittent fasting would be helpful. So don't share your objective until the content of it until you've accomplished it. Don't allow other people's opinions to dictate your choices, because doubt and negativity will sabotage your efforts. The doubt and negativity from others coming from a loving place In the Highest Potential program, I devote a full module on this one, and this is energetic self-mastery, energetic shielding, because we are so open to influence, and especially if we're trying to accomplish something that's important that we've not been successful at before. So also those thoughts can start to bring up our own blockers, and we create more obstacles because we're wondering, is that person right? I'm in the middle of another transparency, in the middle of looking to make sure that the book title is really aligned for me. And what have I done? I've asked experts their views. So now I've got like 20 different possible new book titles, and that can create confusion. So allowing others' opinions to dictate our choices, and if we're not listening to our inner voice, we're in this morass of confusion. So those are 2 manifesting pitfalls to avoid. So what I do, I'm going to give you some tips, is 1, don't share it with someone. 2, make sure I'm really aligned with my true self. I'm listening to my inner voice. And 3, sleep on it. Allow a few days to really allow yourself to become emotionally clear. Is that the right path to take? So not allowing other people's opinions to dictate your choices means you've got to be rock solid in your path, your choice, and don't share it before you have manifested it. Another thing is, you might be thinking, I don't ever recommend asking people's advice. No, I do. Like I just said, I've asked experts on what do you think of this title. I mean, experts. I don't go to just a friend. I go to someone who's familiar with my work. They're already an existing client. They know what I do. Or I go to an expert, someone who knows how to set up Amazon advertising. Or I go to an expert, someone who is excellent at copywriting. So don't just ask anyone, the grocery store clerk, not that you would, but that's a funny one. I just imagined that. What do you think of this idea? Though? So take their advice. Don't act on it though. Wait a few days until you get emotional clarity. And when you get that ding, 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 and you get that inner resonance and that harmony, you know you're in alignment. You're listening to your inner voice, and go forward with that one. Now what's going to happen is those well-meaning loved ones who've given you advice, they may not be happy that you didn't take their advice. That's okay. Thank them. Thank them for their love and care and their ideas. And you do not have to defend your path. So allowing others' opinions to dictate our choices is not a wise manifesting success pattern at all. But by all means, ask for advice, but don't allow them to dictate your choices unless their advice also aligns with your inner voice, your true self. Okay, let's get on to the 3rd manifesting pitfall to avoid: daydreaming without taking proactive action. Oh my goodness, is this important? And if anybody knows me, you know I can get on a rant about the book, The Secret, the movie, The Secret, and all the people who promoted that, because it was very much pushed down people's throats that you can sit on the sofa, envision it, and it will come. And there's a great expression, I think it's an African saying, pray and move your feet. Pray and move your feet. And that's why everything I do is about action. It is about making changes. It's about being in inspired action to be able to create what you want. So daydreaming without taking proactive action. So inaction or passively waiting, simply wishing or hoping for something to manifest without taking those proactive steps or action, can lead to disappointment and failure. And the more that we set it and forget it, the more failure we're going to have. Manifestation requires a combination of intention, visualization, and active effort to bring us into alignment, to equate ourselves with our desire. So we have to become the person who can manifest that. Become the person who is open, ready, and eager for a loving marriage. Become the person who is a successful author. Become the person who is a loving, firm parent. Become the person who is slim and fit. How do we become that person? Well, it's through visualization and taking proactive steps. So one of the things that I love to do is I do my daily success journal nearly every morning. And I'm setting my intention, my rudder for the day, and celebrating my successes from the prior day. And the more specific I can make my intentions for the day and less big and global, the more certain I will do it. For example, I remember when I was doing the Marie Kondo Spark Joy, clearing things out. Instead of me say, clear the clutter from my entire home, I could say, okay, I'm going to clear my workout wear, my workout clothing. And that would be pretty certain. I'd be pretty certain I could do that. So when you're manifesting, the more you can see, I'm not really an avid fan of planning everything step by step, but I do say, if you see what a good proactive positive step could be, do that for the day. And then the next day, do another one, and you will build up positive momentum. And that's super helpful because you're starting your day with a track record of, ooh, I did what I said I was going to do yesterday. Oh, that feels good. Oh, there's nothing like that, right? Having a productive day. So daydreaming without taking proactive action is really look at what can you take, what are some little steps that you can take to put that stake in the sand, to say I'm committed, and not just focusing on a vision. Because in my experience working with people all these many years, nearly 2 decades, and me, teaching myself and guiding myself, there's nothing like repeated failure to suck the joy out of your life. It feels so good to have success. So if you're working on something and you want to manifest something, what's a small action you can take today? And I highly recommend doing it before you go to sleep tonight. Even if it is making the appointment, sending the email, setting a reminder for you to get up at 6 o'clock and having Alexa wake you up, your reminder on your alarm wake you up, maybe even on your phone. So you've got 3. And by the time you've set off all 3, you're out of bed now and you're going to move forward on going to the gym. So make it easy for you. Make it easy for your success. Because I love it when I hear someone tells me, in fact, just this last Saturday on our Highest Potential program, our group coaching, there were 2 big wins. People had said, I've been thinking about this idea for over 3 years and I just did it. And I have scheduled it and I'm having my in-person group event this afternoon. That feels so good. And somebody else who had a big project I won't share with what they're working on, but that they are fleshing it out. They're taking action because there's something about there's an energy that attracts us when we are in inspired action. Maybe you felt that before. And that energy comes from outside of us. And that, my friends, is when we know we are on track to manifest our intentions. Hope you enjoyed the podcast today. And I would love it if you would give us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, The Manifesting Guide. Remember, when you confirm yourself and you stop looking for others to recognize you, it frees you to be yourself. So much love.